Hello neighbor, I'm Robert Burns and welcome once again to another edition of Sound Off Louisiana. You may hear I've suffered from sinus problems the last few days, so bear with me. I'm on the mend, but at any rate, what we're doing today is we're giving a Cliff Notes version of our prior feature because some people for whom I have the utmost of respect said it was a great feature, but it was a little bit too in-depth, a little bit too in the weeds to really get to the crux of the matter. So we're doing a really quick overview of just the relevant salient facts of that past feature. Okay, here's the deal. A State Police Commission member is nominated by way of letters from a university president. On December the 23rd of 2024, Dillard University President Monique Guidry nominated Stephen L. Guidry Jr. for the 1st Congressional District. That would be Governor Jeff Landry's man, okay? And if there's any doubt about that, and we're going to blow these up into the feature, but I don't want anybody to have any doubt about that. And I may not be the best in the world at this, but putting it right in front of the camera, this is her letter right here, and very importantly, I'm going to blow this up. You can see that it says that it was received on December the 26th at 4:53 p.m. All right, that is the only submission that she made. Okay, so as per the Louisiana Constitution, Jeff Landry had his hands tied. He could only select Mr. Guidry for the position, and that's who he wanted anyway. Unfortunately, that's not who the LSTA wanted. They wanted the incumbent, a gentleman named Jared Caruso Ricky, of whom we've reported on numerous times. The day after the deadline for Dr. Guidry to submit any more nominations, which was January the 5th, the very next day, January the 6th of 2025, Stephen L. Guidry changed his voter registration, all right? He changed his voter registration from St. Tammany Parish to East Baton Rouge Parish, which caused him to no longer be a resident of 1st Congressional District 1, and now would be a resident of the 6th Congressional District. And so with that, Governor Landry, he issued a letter to y'all forgive me, to Nancy Landry, the Secretary of State, and I'm going to step in front of it. We're going to put all these documents, blow them up, and put them in the feature. But here's his nomination letter right here to Nancy Landry, and he is saying we'll be reappointing Jared Ricky. But here's something really important, and I'm going to blow it up. It's the last sentence of his letter. All right, Dillard University failed to nominate. That is a lie. That is, I'm sorry to use that word, but I don't know any other word to use. It is false. I want to make sure everybody knows that is Jeff Landry's signature as governor on this letter saying that, and I quote, Dillard University failed to nominate. That is a lie, okay? You just saw the nomination. I don't like using the word lie. Sweeten it up any way you want to. It's inaccurate. It's demonstratively false, okay? The letter that Dr. Guidry sent out clearly said Stephen L. Guidry was the one to be nominated. She nominated, okay, and she nominated at a time when Mr. Guidry was a properly registered voter in St. Tammany Parish. So it's completely inaccurate to say that Dr. Guidry made no nomination. But you've got this struggle going on, okay? This is who, Stephen L. Guidry is who Jeff Landry, the governor, wants, and Jared Ricky is who the LSTA wants. So like I said, they are whatever, whoever thought this up. Mr. Guidry changes his voter registration from St. Tammany Parish to East Baton Rouge Parish. All right, now, the whole question comes down, because this is what some of the most knowledgeable people that I know of have communicated to me, is that this is federal voter fraud, okay? And they have specifically said you cannot assert that you live in one district for purposes of the Motor Vehicle Commission, which Mr. Guidry does. I'm blowing that up too. You can clearly see that he purports to be a resident of the 1st District with regard to the Motor Vehicle Commission. All right. Now, the 1st District does not match up with the U.S. congressional districts. However, the 1st District East Baton Rouge is not included in that 1st District, okay? Nevertheless, simultaneously, y'all bear with me, if you go to the State Police Commission's website, you will see that Mr. Guidry represents himself as the representative from the 6th Congressional District. So the core question here is this a federal election violation, voting registration violation? You're not supposed to put an inaccurate statement on that voter registration. We had one concerned citizen who said he was going to report that. We would commend any such action by anybody who follows Sound Off's blog. But here's the last relevant question, and then we're done. And that is, okay, these things still have to be confirmed by the Senate. One thing, there is no question that collusion had to have happened here. You know, I am a CPA inactive, so I know a little bit about internal routines and controls and when collusion has to happen. And there has to be collusion here, all right? And let me just say this. When I published the feature about Stephen L. Guidry being poised to be nominated by Governor Landry for the 1st District, I had no reason to go look Mr. Guidry up. I didn't know who he was. I was not knowledgeable of that. But once this whole stunt happened, well, I did start doing a lot of digging, okay? But my point is, there would have been no reason for me to even look into Stephen L. Guidry. Why? He was Governor Landry's choice. He was the duly nominated choice from Dr. Guillory, but I'm just telling you right now, the evidence is overwhelming now that the governors, not just the current governor, but past governors, tell university presidents who's going to be nominated. And he was a valid resident of the 1st District, so why should I delve into Stephen L. Guidry? But once I suddenly found out that, and make no mistake, I provided Mr. Guidry the opportunity to be quoted for the feature that we just put out. He opted not to do so, to explain this away. The same opportunity was afforded to Ryan Roberts, Governor Landry's head of boards and commissions, also to Jason Hanneman, the head of the State Police Commission. Nobody commented. Nobody, okay? And I would make note of the fact that Governor Landry opted to withhold 2 documents from me, namely emails that either went into or out or were sent from Ryan Roberts' email account. One of which, the exception, was that infamous deliberative process, which was orchestrated by the General Administration, which was undone by the Edwards Administration, and which they tried through legislation to get reenacted earlier this year. You may remember I showed up and testified against that initiative that was put forth by Governor Landry. It did not make it, and I will also point out that the Lens Nola, as you will have seen from past features, sued Robert Hodges and State Police over them trying to implement the deliberative process, and the young ladies from the Tulane Law Institute mopped the floor with LSP's attorneys on that issue. I'm not going to go into a fight about trying to get the other one. They also asserted deliberative process, as well as executive privilege, as well as attorney-client privilege on one of them. So on attorney-client privilege, I would have to say that that's a valid reason to withhold. The question is, why are you withholding any of this? Because I don't need them to see how horrible this looks, okay? Neither do you. We're going to blow them up. That's the whole issue. That's it in a nutshell. I apologize that sometimes my features are way too lengthy, but I do that because of what my training was when I was a fraud investigator. You lay everything out, okay? And I realize that for the average person that's going to say, look, this is way too much for me. I've tried to boil it down to the simplest point, but my point about the collusion is these two gentlemen, Jared Rickey, who is the infamous raw sewage polluter to the tune of millions of gallons, as well as Stephen L. Guidry, both of them now have to be confirmed by the Senate. So with regard specifically to Mr. Guidry, if there is, there is collusion, but if this is a voting illegality, because this is not where he resides, if that is in fact the case, is the entire body of the Senate going to join in that collusion? All right, that's the core question, and that's what we'll ponder it with. Thank you so much. I've tried to make this brief. I hope you've had an enjoyable weekend, and we look forward to bringing you, if they don't cancel it, the State Police Commission meeting on Thursday and other material as well. Hope you had an enjoyable Mardi Gras. Hope you had an enjoyable weekend, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.